See any headlights back there? Okay.
Hopefully that's a good thing.
Well, welcome to today's episode of Trackside with Tom. In case you can't tell, we are driving west on Highway 30, just going underneath Edgewood Road on the outskirts of Cedar Rapids. We are heading to Fairfax to intercept a westbound that we've been pacing for a while, and then there's an eastbound by Belle Plaine as well that we're gonna hopefully see eventually. He was dragging pretty slow there when we saw him go by the Belle Plaine camera.
Looked like a double coal train or something like that.
Yeah. So I've got Mr. Evan Weber with me here today.
What's happening, guys?
Yeah. We've got 30 people logged in live, so thank you everyone for tuning in to participate today. We are going to get off right up here at this next exit and head into Fairfax. And who knows, we might even catch a glimpse of the Iowa Interstate while we're out here too.
Yeah, I don't know, if we're lucky.
I don't have any idea. We'll see. I don't know if they make daylight runs.
Not really.
Up to the 900s anymore.
I think they actually they run at. Actually, I think the crew is on duty at 5 p.m. nowadays.
Yeah.
Because I think they want to get cracking on the Amana Bridge replacement.
Ah, yes.
So, the beloved.
Well, I think that replacing a bridge in January sounds like pretty sucky work, but
right.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. No, there's very little snow on the ground here.
Yeah, next to nothing.
We've had a pretty dry winter so far.
It snowed probably like a week and a half ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's pretty much gone.
All right, so we just jumped off on US 151. We're heading southwest now, down into Fairfax. And we are really hoping for the ability to catch up with a westbound UP train.
Hopefully it doesn't end up working Beverly, but...
Well, you know, even if it does, we'll see the headlights from Fairfax. We'll know that it's stopped and working.
Yeah.
So at least we got that going for him. Oh, let's see here. Go around the roundabout. Everybody loves their roundabouts.
Oh yeah.
This is the new thing. We are so safe and we are so roundaboutish that yes. No one has to stop for anything anymore. We just keep moving kind of slow, going around the roundabout.
Yep. We've got Daniel Swanson, Railfan 1995, Ryan W, Tim Leister,
Yep.
Shuttle Train, Marty Wilson. You call that a tweet?
Okay.
A-Train. No waiting at the red light. Yes. Preach.
That is the benefit of the roundabout.
Yes,
you are
absolutely.
correct. So, yeah, we've been, what have we caught this thing, the first time we saw it was about 11 a.m. by Grand Mound.
Yeah, it went by 11:15-ish.
Right.
It didn't take too long to get to Mount Vernon.
Nope, about 45 minutes from Grand Mound to Mount Vernon.
Didn't seem very long though, so.
I do have to admit, we started out driving east on 30.
Right.
Thinking that we were going to intercept it between like Lisbon and Mechanicsville.
But
not the case.
Nope. Exactly.
Moving a little too quick for that.
That's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. But we were watching the webcams. We actually saw the train pop in on the HED scanner at Mount Vernon, and we're like, oh, well, time to turn around, head the other way.
Yep.
So this is part of the part of the point of going out and doing these is kind of promoting the webcam technology too. Right?
Yes.
Being able to show people, look, we got all this neat stuff to show you where trains are.
Right. Especially really good tools to use as a rail fan. So, hello from Kokado, Minnesota.
I don't know.
I've been through there for sure. I do remember going through there.
All right, we are just getting down into Fairfax now. And what you'll see up ahead of us here, we're going to turn off. This used to be a level crossing with this highway at the railroad tracks, and they built a massive overpass.
Yeah, same story with Edgewood Road.
So here's the big bridge, but we're going to turn off, head down into town, and hopefully roll westbound by.
Some signals too.
Yeah. Hopefully roll westbound by, and then additionally see if we get an eastbound. But, you know, ideally I'd like to chase this guy toward Belle Plaine, or excuse me, not all the way to Belle Plaine, but Norway, Blairstown, somewhere out that direction. Bustling downtown Fairfax.
Yes, busy Monday.
Oh, yes. All right.
Ooh.
We have all reds. And we gotta turn around up here, come back at it the other way. So we're gonna turn this direction. Now, I don't know how well you guys can see it. I'm going to park in the shadow of this grain elevator. But there is three
units?
Three UP units. Pretty sure that's off of a coal train where they interchange them with the Iowa Northern, or the Crandick. Sorry. Crandick over there.
Yep.
On the right. Yeah. So as long as this guy hasn't, well, if he's already zipped by us, then the signals will just go out.
Yeah.
Because these are approach lit.
Right. So ideally this, maybe this westbound has a signal, and that's why they're still on.
Yeah. That would be the hope, is that he's lined up, and we're going to see some headlights here in the not too distant future. Let's see here. Kokado, Minnesota. U.S. Highway 12. Yes. Good afternoon, Alan Hunt. What is that? I saw just briefly a message. Any truth to the rumor? What was that?
By expanding train volume through Iowa, plus bypassing directional running in Missouri. Not having to worry about hills or Amtrak interference. Well, who knows? I mean, if you were a railroad, ideally you'd own no track and run no trains. Given the attitude nowadays, I mean,
yes,
even within the last couple.
Everything
of years,
would be single track, and you just run one train each day.
It'd all
in
be
each
track
direction.
warrant. There'd be no signals to maintain. Yeah,
that's right.
That would be the idea.
And the trains wouldn't even have crews on them, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yep.
But no, I don't know. You'd have to talk to somebody in Omaha about what the plan is for traffic patterns out there.
Right.
Because I couldn't even begin to tell you. If you're talking about moving traffic off of the Sedalia sub and moving it up to the Boone and Clinton subs, who knows? Maybe. I guess it's possible. But otherwise, we are anxiously awaiting. Ooh, did I see a... I thought for a moment I might have seen a headlight, but it might have just been a reflection off of one of those shacks down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, lit signals are better than dark signals, so
Always.
fingers crossed that they'll
Fingers crossed that they
something
didn't just
will happen.
park all that extra power on the circuit for the
Yeah, right.
for the
It
signal.
stays on all the
And
time.
it's just on.
Yep.
Yes, that's also possible too.
I'm very curious as to why. There's no way this. I mean, is it possible that this coal train could have beat us here? I mean,
No.
I don't think so.
So we watched a coal train go by Belle Plaine at what, 11:50?
Yeah,
was that-
thereabouts.
I mean, in the best case, it's a 40-minute run from Belle Plaine to Beverly.
Yeah.
And that coal train was dragging by there at less than 20 mile an hour. There's no
Right.
way. I'm more surprised that he's not actually lined up. That they don't just want to keep him moving.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like Z trains or something that.
MYCMT just got their Beverly work instructions. Aha.
Aha.
3 to 5 to 8. So, that means that Mr. Hunt is listening to the scanner radio.
yeah.
Yeah. So they are, in fact, so that MYC, that's Manifest Yard Center to, what was the second, I forget what the second train symbol that the station, but, so that's out of Yard Center.
Marshalltown.
Yeah, thank you. Marshalltown. Thank you, Alan Hunt. So, all right, we know where he is, which means we could head toward Norway or Blairstown
Could, yeah.
and takes 45 minutes. But yes, Beverly to Belle Plaine. That's 100% correct, buddy. I think that knowing that,
We ought to reduce the weight and jump a little bit farther
yeah,
to the west.
we're going to go further west. That is correct. We are going to abandon, at least for the moment, any hope of a Fairfax roll by.
All right.
But we will be back, I hope.
Ideally, yeah.
I think so. But we're not just going to sit here and wait for the train to show up either. We're going to actually go out and seek out our quarry. So, since we don't have any trains to look at, we should probably provide some sort of entertainment here.
Right.
And, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, you want to.
Wrong way. I'm going to go this way. There we go. People in Fairfax are like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Right.
Why exactly is he wandering aimlessly through our town? All right. So we are going to, when we turn left here, ooh, Rail Crew Express.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wonder what they're up to.
I wonder if he's given a yard assist to the
To that
Beverly
manifest.
crew. Yeah. I wonder if that's what he's called for. Could be.
Yeah, who knows?
Yep.
Maybe they're getting on that power at the connection to do something with it.
Well, if they are, it'd still be hours before they'd actually be
Do
leaving.
anything meaningful.
Yeah.
Right?
So we are going to drive this way. We're going to parallel the Iowa Interstate for a bit.
Yeah.
Head down this direction. Yeah, if you want to. But we are now.
There's an eastbound manifest passing Belle Plaine right now. 1210.
Okay. So we've got two eastbounds coming at us.
Yeah.
Good deal. So over here on the left is the Iowa Interstate Cedar Rapids line, south of Amana to Cedar Rapids. And this is where they head up to interchange with the Crandick and Iowa Northern and UP and everywhere else up here in Cedar Rapids. This is still partially owned, I believe, by Crandick and partially owned by the Iowa Interstate. But it is actually former Milwaukee Road Marion to Ottumwa line that has been truncated now at the Yoakum connection in South Amana.
Right.
This hill at Walford is the rule and grade. And
there's a road bridge that goes right over the crest of it. That's a fun place to go whenever there's something coming.
Big sweeping curve coming up from one side.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, the head end will go by in Notch 8, and then if there's a DPU on it, that'll go by in Dynamics.
Yeah, that's right. All right, what do we got for comments there? I see things popping in, but I'm trying to make sure that we don't crash the vehicle too.
What is that? It's owned by the Crandick, but leased to the Iowa Interstate. I think the Crandick does track maintenance and work.
Right, on some of it for sure.
Right. Every once in a while they'll run a ballast train.
Yep.
Which is one of the rare times you can see a Crandick train on the actual Crandick line.
Yes. So true.
Otherwise, the Iowa Interstate does not have any physical connection into Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
And the Crandick has two lines into Cedar Rapids, just that one of them is used for car storage. I think, if I had to guess, it's a bit more of a roller coaster and it needs a lot of TLC if it were to ever be used.
Yeah, you're talking about the interurban line?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. If you follow 380 from Cedar Rapids down to Coralville, and you'll see where it crosses over the Iowa River, it crosses over the interurban line also, and there's all kinds of car storage down there.
Right.
Yeah. And they still have, one or two customers down there that they interchange cars to the Iowa Interstate and then get transferred back at Iowa City.
Yep. Yeah, so the cars come in on the UP at the Crandick up in Cedar Rapids. Then they end up going down to South Amana, then they end up in Iowa City. I believe there's only one customer. And that is Centro, and they get plastic pellets.
Well, and then Stutzman's in Hills.
Yes, that too. Yep.
So those two. So yeah, we're literally driving right along the Iowa Interstate over here, or
you could call it the Iowa Interstate.
Over here on the left, yes.
That is basically all you'll ever see. And this line that only stretches from South Amana to Cedar Rapids is the line that sees the longest and the heaviest trains on the entire Iowa Interstate on average.
Yeah. All right.
Most of the time they've got 3 GVOs.
We've got our right-hand turn coming up here to go to.
Yeah, there's going to be
to go to Norway next.
The road will go left and then
Yep. So we're going to be cutting across country away from railroad tracks now, sadly.
Right. No Iowa Interstate action. The last train through Walford was 22:10 last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of what we were talking about on the way here, too, that it's overnight trips now. You don't get any daylight action.
Yeah. Patrick was on it last night. He didn't hop on Fortnite until probably midnight.
Ah, so. I see. Very sad day.
Yeah.
When work interferes with your video game play.
Right. Exactly. I'm tired of working on the road.
All right. So, for anyone that's ever out here rail fanning the area, we, you know, when we've done these live shows in the past, we've always tried to do the Clinton sub east of Cedar Rapids because of the proximity to the tracks. And even when you're not chasing a train actively,
you get to see
you get to parallel the tracks, signals and everything. Well, this is the first time that we've done one of these where we've tried to chase west of Cedar Rapids. And it's a little more adventurous, a little more cross-country.
Right, yeah, there's no direct chase route per se.
Right. There's a pretty nice stretch where we're going to be able to parallel the tracks from Norway to Blairstown, to pretty close to Belle Plaine. The tracks are on a pretty high fill through there, but you can still follow it.
Yep.
But once we get to Norway, we'll have a pretty good, like, cross-country or cross-the-field shot. The nice thing about doing this in the winter is that there are no crops in the fields, or at least there shouldn't be.
Right.
So it makes it...
No leaves on the trees either.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to pick out movement from longer distance.
Right.
Yeah.
Buddy says that Delayed Block Productions recently made a video on the bridge near Amana. And that is true, and I would recommend going and watching it, because it is a pretty interesting video.
Yeah.
There's lots of good drone videos that Drayton got during the summertime, and I'm not sure. The last time I went back there was when they had first announced, or that the word had first gotten out that they were going to be replacing that at some point.
Right.
So I got back there once and got my photos, got some video too, and I'm not sure. I would imagine the whole bridge is still in one piece, but it wouldn't blow my mind if they've got a span or two replaced. But who knows? It's a really long walk to get back there. It's a long walk through a gigantic field, sort of hunting preserve.
Not for the faint of heart.
No, not at all.
Yes.
But
it requires commitment to get all the way back there.
For sure.
Yes. So, as we continue to approach, I'm betting that these eastbounds, we're still going to have to drive past Norway to find them.
Yeah, perhaps. There is a road that parallels the track for a little bit. Going west on Road very much.
Yep.
Then it kind of dips away.
So I don't know how well you can see here. I think we'll have to readjust the camera just a bit. But we are definitely approaching Norway.
It's definitely a little bit more hilly out west of Cedar Rapids.
Oh yeah.
Rather than
home of the Norway Tigers, baseball capital of Iowa.
Huh. Heard about this place in Dyers, though. Seems kind of
I know.
popular.
I feel like they might have something to say about that. But who might ask?
Now we've got visual of the tracks to our right, and we'll be going over them here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Get some good. I think there's some signals here in town too, so that'll hopefully give us some answers.
Yes. So I'm going to actually turn before we go over the tracks, those
Looks like
signals
they're
are
dark.
still dark.
Yes. They'll probably only light up when they're a block away. Unless
Maybe.
unless they're intermediates, then they just won't.
Yeah. These are definitely intermediates, though.
Yeah.
Flag flying at half-mast. Pretty sure that's still for Jimmy Carter today.
Yeah. I don't know. Earlier today, when we were going through Fairfax, the gigantic flag that they had there was also half-mast.
Uh-huh. All right. We are crossing the tracks here. I'm looking at these signals, and there is definitely nothing lit up.
If we go down the tracks a little bit, there's I think there's some absolutes, question mark.
Oh yeah, there's the next set of crossovers down
Yeah.
here.
We can look at the other side of them, but can't quite remember. Last time I was out here was a year ago when 6706 made its way out here leading. That was that was a fun day.
Uh-huh.
Bit of a pain. Trains on here are pretty hectic to chase.
Uh-huh.
But thankfully, with PSR in full swing, the only thing that really goes impossibly fast are stack trains.
Well, even then, just the Z trains.
Yeah.
Even the stackers are still, a lot of times have, just the general stack trains a lot of times have.
Just so gigantic they can't.
Right, and they still have notch restrictions too.
Yeah.
So it's really only the Z trains that can make the 70 or 65 mile an hour. But yeah, the next set of crossovers down this way is Watkins. So
Yeah.
I don't know, 4 or 5 miles or so. But we are definitely going to do our best to parallel the tracks and see what we can find. Because we know that there is traffic heading toward us.
Marty Wilson says last week somebody mentioned the CN spur in Waterloo. I myself am actually kind of interested in that. It looks like a scrap yard is getting rail service.
Oh yeah?
So
Very
probably
interesting.
A handful of gondolas that will end up on 338, 337.
Yeah.
Who knows? Buddy Burton says that the signals usually light up when they're about 6 miles out.
Okay. So I can't really turn the phone far enough to show you, but the tracks are over to our left right now. And there is nothing down there. We're going over these hills. I don't know, we're probably 1,000 feet, maybe, give or take, north of the tracks here. The width of a decent sized field.
Yep.
But we will get down this way and we'll actually cross the tracks as many times as we can. Right down here, you were talking about Watkins. The Watkins crossovers. When we get into town, the Watkins crossovers we'll be able to look to the left and see them.
See the signals, hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully they'll be on and tell us something good.
Yes.
New spur Marty says that the new spur goes to A-line iron on the east side of the road.
Interesting.
We are going, Railcam, Railfan and more. We are going to Watkins, Iowa, which is
1 mile that way.
yeah, however many miles west of Cedar Rapids, not too many,
No.
15, 20.
We're probably 4 or 5 miles west of Norway now.
Right.
Norway's about 5 miles from Fairfax.
Yeah.
Fairfax maybe 2 miles from Beverly, which is the UP's main yard in the Cedar Rapids area.
Right. Brad says, nice video, guys. I graduated from Iowa State in 1977. I would catch the C&W action in Ames and he would catch the C&W action in Ames. I often have the Steel Highway Ames cam on my other computer.
Nice.
For strong nostalgia for a special time in my life. Yep. Preach. I wish I would have been around during the C&W days, or even just the early UP days.
All right. We are at Watkins.
And they're
just
lit, but they're red.
Well, let's see. It didn't look like that they were all red.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I suppose it's possible this guy that's working could be occupying both mains.
Just tying everything up. That would be an unfortunate turn of events.
It would be.
Got this really cool elevator going here.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
So I am not going to drive down that direction. Well, I guess.
Those are all red.
All red on both sides. We can turn the car and face this way. I don't know how well people can make out the
signals.
signals.
They're a bit far down there. I don't know if we could zoom.
I'm not sure. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's something that's been new, because every other time we've tried to do one of these, we couldn't zoom in.
Uh-huh. Look at all these.
Look at all that red. Isn't that great?
All red, both mains. And a 3/4 mile post, for good measure.
Why not?
All right, well, the hunt continues.
Farther west we go, then.
Yes. Apparently, we are heading west to look for a stationary train instead of one that is moving.
Yes. Buddy says that the train might be waiting at Blair's now.
Might very well be.
I imagine the coal train is. I don't think the coal train could really hide anywhere. It seemed pretty long.
Yeah. Did you confirm, was it a doubled up coal train?
I'm not sure. I saw one on the rear, but I was kind of just glancing down while we were driving.
Yeah.
But for how long it seemed, it wouldn't blow my mind if it was. I could have missed the central DPUs.
Well, Watkins, it was nice stopping to see you. We're going to keep moving.
Yes.
Keep proceeding west.
MCHCD went by Mount Vernon at 12:15 and does not work Beverly, 2740 west.
Okay.
Well, we've ended up pretty far west now.
Yeah.
So it might be a second until we see that, but hey, at least hopefully we'll have something.
Right. All right, we're going on to Blairstown now, but that means we have to go back north, back west, back south again.
Yep.
Make kind of a big loop.
Rather indirect routes.
Yes. We are, in fact, following, kind of following the historical route of Old Highway 30.
Yeah, you can hang a left in this road up here.
Yeah.
And,
that is exactly what we will do.
Is there any new train cam coming soon? The question of the day.
Yes. That question comes up every time. At this
and
point,
the answer is yes.
Right.
But it depends on your definitions.
Right. I'm not really too inclined to put up new cameras in winter, and
yeah.
I don't think that you're gonna see.
Oh, there he is. You want to turn around? He's moving.
He is slowly.
One of these field
I'm not driving through a field.
Well, you don't have to drive through the field. You can wire the power on it.
But yeah, he's probably gonna pull up and stop.
Signal.
He's gonna pull up to that crossing and stop.
Yep.
At Watkins. Well, excellent eagle-eyed observation there.
Yep. Now he might, it wouldn't blow my mind if he doesn't even pull up to the crossing, which would be a little unfortunate, but who knows, maybe we get down there and the signal just flips green on him or something. But
maybe.
who knows?
Look.
Well, hey, if it's that manifesto, then that means the coal train must be by us then.
One thing that I learned is that if the dispatch tells you you're going to stop, you always stop by a crossing. On the chance that your hours of service expire and you have to be picked up and taxied off the train. Yeah. Yes. You always stop by a crossing. So I am not I guess I'm hopeful that this engineer follows the same advice.
Yes. The coal train is CNAWS 149 cars from Wisconsin Rapids.
Ah.
New cameras in the springtime, for sure.
Yeah.
There will definitely be, when you see one, there will be many others quickly succeeding each other.
Yes.
That's usually how it goes. Once the weather gets nice, that's when webcam season commences.
Yes. So Wisconsin Rapids, so that one's going to go by Necedah.
Yes.
It'll actually go all the way east, go north at Butler, and then back around on the Adams sub. And go by Necedah to then get on the CN.
Yeah. From what I can tell, the UP runs trackage rights on the CN, and they run most of the game up there.
Uh-huh.
Got it cleared? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's get closer and find out.
Let's see if this guy's got a lineup now that he's here. Anything is possible.
Aha, yes, we did miss the coal train somewhere, because it's dispatcher said, Alan says that dispatcher 12 told Nicole to come up to Fairfax and meet one there. Aha, he does have a green.
So look at that. We literally were just here less than 5 minutes ago.
And yeah, and
that was all red.
In that time, he finally got a light.
Uh-huh. So you think he's meeting one that's actually the work train? The guy that's working at Beverly? Meeting him at Fairfax?
Perhaps.
It's possible.
I mean, that one train, well, the coal train might be waiting for the...
Oh, this is the manifest.
Yes. Yep, the coal train is, the coal train's waiting for the westbound, I would imagine.
Yeah. So what do we have here today? We have the UP 9058 and the UP 5565. Yeah, that's a choo-choo, that's right. You can hear my 2-year-old daughter in the background saying, "Hey, it's a choo-choo! Look at that!"
Got a rather raggedy set of hoppers.
Uh-huh. Lots of private hoppers here on the head end.
All sorts of dinged up and rusted up and half painted. I did see a really cool cotton belt hopper on the webcam.
Ooh.
So hopefully we'll be able to see that. Or no, that was on the westbound actually.
Okay. Some mechanical reefers.
Coil car, Norfolk Southern. Rather, oh hey, look, a Conrail
Ooh.
flat car.
Conrail coil car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat.
It is. 1075. What is 10? Oh, liquefied petroleum gas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Norfolk and Western. That's cool.
Well, NS on the coil car on the cover and NW on the reporting
on the
marks.
Actual car itself.
Yeah.
And who knows if it was actually an original Norfolk and Western.
Oh, now look at this one coming.
Gary Railway.
Uh-huh.
Newer coil car.
Yeah.
Or a Gary Railway cover with an NS car.
Yeah.
Mopac.
Mm-hmm. Very rusted out, but
Yeah. At least the Screaming Eagle's still there.
Yeah.
Still screaming.
CHTT. A couple of non-placarded tanks that went by. Load of lumber, more loads of lumber. So I don't know for certain, and maybe if Alan Hunt is still on here, he can tell us, but with all these loads of lumber and mechanical reefers out here, it makes me wonder if this thing originated somewhere, or maybe just this block in the train originated somewhere out in Washington or Oregon.
Got a DPU coming.
Yeah, what do we have here?
New paint Ace.
Yeah, 8504.
Then we've got these. I forgot what these are.
These are coil cars.
Oh yeah.
They're converted Gons. Oh no, they're not. They've got a 3077.
Chemicals of some kind.
What is? You should look that up. What is 3077?
Yeah. Let's see.
I've seen those used, like converted. Oh, NPPR. Okay, so it's got multiple blocks combined on it, combined at North Platte to go east.
Yeah. So 3077 means substance solid.
Really?
It does not fall into any other dangerous goods classification, and it has no other hazardous properties other than aquatic toxicity.
Huh. All right.
How nice of this.
There's a CPKC
Oh yeah, look at that.
auto rack.
Yeah. How fantastic of this fella to park here.
Yeah, just pull right up. Conrail auto rack.
Yeah. Can opener. That's in really good shape.
Yeah, it is.
Alan thinks that those covered Gons are for dirty dirt loading. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Maybe contaminated dirt or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? Nuclear waste dirt.
I think the rear is approaching. There's a state car. Something else you don't see very often.
Yeah. Looks like a cut of auto racks, and then we might be done.
Yeah. So did this guy run around the coal train?
No, because I think Alan said that the coal train was waiting for one at Fairfax, probably waiting for that westbound.
Okay.
27, whatever.
How did the coal train get to Fairfax that fast?
That's a good question. And how did we not see it? Here comes a DPU.
Yep, 5631. That is an old
flag AC-44.
Yeah.
Well, I think the answer is back towards town for sure.
Yes. We're definitely heading back toward Fairfax.
traffic jam, we can get over there in time to see something.
Yeah. All right, well, it only took us 45 minutes into the program to get our first roll by.
Yeah, that's how rail fanning goes nowadays.
Yeah.
There used to be a time where you could go down there and see a couple trains within an hour.
Right.
Or more than 2 trains in an hour.
But obviously, we're here for the entertainment.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know for certain, but my guess is that because the manifest went by Belle Plaine second, you should see if he went by Belle Plaine on a different main than the coal train did.
Yeah.
Because I'll bet he ran around that coal train somehow. I just have, but just from, and I saw Alan Hunt popped in a message there too. I just feel like from what I saw of that coal train going by the Belle Plaine camera, I have a hard time imagining it.
Well, it went by at 11:50 and it's now 12:50.
Yeah.
So now it should be to Fairfax.
If we missed it somehow?
Yeah, I bet we did.
How did we miss an entire 150 car coal train?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. Sometimes it's just the way luck prevails.
Yeah.
I remember there was this one time I was on the CN Cedar Rapids sub. I was up in Manchester, and I was trying to get 563 coming south because it was a Sunday and it was daylight. And for some reason, they decided to leave cars on the main at on the south end of the Y, just south of town on the CR side.
Yeah.
And that really threw me off. I was like, oh, they got to be coming back for that, right? And then sure enough, I hear them leave, so I just kind of bounce back and forth from Manchester like, oh, I can't really find them. And I ended up driving the whole length of the line back to Cedar Rapids as close as I could, and I somehow missed him.
Huh.
So, then again, that's a much smaller train. It's much easier to...
Yeah.
Much easier to lose. But,
well, we are, in fact, paralleling the Clinton sub here for a short distance coming into Norway. And no, I'm not going to be cutting across any gravel roads to take a shortcut between Norway and Fairfax.
Yes. We may have to end up waiting for our own train here.
I'm sure we will. I mean, I guess I could turn left and go up to 30. But I feel like we're close enough to the end of the train that kind of why bother?
It's marginal.
Right.
Got the Conrail auto rack in the center of the frame. Pretty
Yes.
Good.
Well, there's buildings now.
For a second.
Yeah.
We've got 45 viewers right now. We've
Yes.
held steady at 40 to 45.
Uh-huh.
Now that we've got some action.
Everybody is lined up,
waiting patiently.
to try to get over the crossing.
Yep. Just a way of life here in town.
Mm-hmm. Still can't turn it far enough to get over there. I know this is really just riveting viewership here.
Right. And here, and
Yeah.
take a look.
Let's turn. Wait our turn. Not blocking anybody. We just pulled into a little gas station here. But, oops, there we go. We'll level it up a bit. Yeah, Elizabeth, are you saying hi back there?
She's been doing a really good job of keeping quiet.
She has. I thought she'd fallen asleep, honestly.
Right? I mean, now that we've come to a stop
Right.
quite a few times now.
But she definitely, as soon as she heard it, she said, big choo-choo.
Yep.
She just piped right in.
She's gonna get hooked on rail fanning in her later years, that's for sure.
Maybe.
All right.
You know, if we were smart, which we're obviously not,
Yeah.
we would have checked to see if there was another move stacked in behind this eastbound manifest. Did you look to see that those trains go by Belle Plaine on different mains?
I think they're on the same. I think they were on the same one.
I think you should validate that.
Yes. Full train went by on the one that one's on right now, for sure. I gotta go find the manifest. Yeah, they were both on the same track.
Okay. I'm trying to think if they both went by Belle Plaine on the same main.
25 minutes apart.
Is there... Could they have crossed the one over and then crossed it back over before he got to Watkins?
Maybe.
I'm not sure
So
if there's...
Alan said that he thinks he might be wrong about the coal train being at Fairfax. But
Yeah.
I imagine that he probably did make it to Fairfax or somewhere not too far away to wait
Yeah.
for the westbound.
I'm just trying to think. I think that the coal train is out there. Because the Belle Plaine crossovers are west of the camera. So they would have had to have crossed over if it was at Belle Plaine already. They would have had to gone by it separate tracks.
Yes.
And then you have Belle Plaine, Blairstown, Watkins, and then Beverly. And I think those are the control points. So if that's all accurate, then we did somehow miss that coal train. Or we're going to pull up to Norway and be like, oh look,
There he is.
there's a coal train. Amazing.
Right. Buddy says that there could have been 6 in an hour in the old days. Yep.
Yes.
I remember going to East Dubuque when I was a kid, and it was just constant train after train after train.
Yes.
That was a trend across many Class 1 big planes. Welch says that the snow finally melted so we can go places.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to ask for anything too crazy, but I could do with some more snow.
It does make for better photography.
It does, for sure.
Yes. It definitely makes for better
And this sort of half-melted, kind of patchy snow just looks really not that great.
Yeah.
Yes, we are in Iowa. We're probably 10 or 15 miles from Cedar Rapids right now, west of Cedar Rapids, on the UP Clinton subdivision.
All right, moment of truth coming up. We're going to get back up 151, drive back up through Walford into Fairfax.
Yep.
And still no Iowa Interstate.
Yeah. If we were lucky and they were still on their old schedule,
Yeah.
could be a different story, but that's not the case.
Not today.
Yep. John says he's from North Georgia.
Okay.
On the former C&W. Yep, that's correct. It
Wait
was
a
the UP's missing link. What's that?
Oh, we are. Yes.
Yeah, we're chasing on the former C&W, but we're gonna be going by the former Milwaukee for a little bit here.
Yes.
The former Milwaukee from Marion to Ottumwa, and then on to Kansas City.
Excuse me. It's really too bad that there's nowhere in Fairfax where we could get both railroads.
Yeah.
It does make me a little bit sad.
If only there was like if the tracks parallel.
Well, they do, but they parallel a mile apart.
Like directly
Yeah.
abutting up against each other. Patrick says that there's a work train on the Newton sub.
Yes, we heard him getting I heard him getting a warrant earlier from 292 to 304, I think.
Yeah.
292, 305,
Yep.
something like that.
507, the only Jevo with a slightly different horn than all of the rest of them.
That's right.
Patrick was pulling 7,400 feet, which is not all that much considering the norm up here.
Right. So we are again paralleling the former Milwaukee, now the Iowa Interstate's connection into Cedar Rapids. And we're going to pull up to Fairfax and see what we can see.
John Welch says he was born in South Dakota along the RCP&E Dakota subdivision.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. The RCP&E is a really, really fun chase out of west out of Mankato.
Yeah.
It's the only section I've done, but I'd like to get some more of those in.
Yeah, get up there again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Still got SD40s.
One of the last bastions.
Right. Now the infection of the bnsf H2s are starting to infect shorelines.
It's true. And the UPSD70Ms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Those end up with paint on them more often than not, which is nice. But
Yeah.
oh, the crossing's malfunctioning.
Oh, well, I wonder if somebody's over here testing it.
Oh yeah, the Cranic guy was. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what's happening.
Hiding in the bungalow with the door shut.
Uh-huh. I would too. It's cold out here. It was single digits earlier.
Yep, and I was like, I'm going to ride the bike over to Tom's house. Yeah, that's a great idea.
No, not so much. Not so much. Well, what do you think? Has this guy finished his work at Beverly yet?
Perhaps he has. I mean, he only had 3 lines of work. Got the tail of that manifest here.
See it, but
got decent zoom.
Yeah, this isn't the tail of it, though. This is way closer to the head end.
Yeah, shorter. Pull up to the crossing or something.
We are coming back into Fairfax. And angling off to the right is the Krandic. Going around to the left. And I see power.
Yep, sitting short of the bridge.
Yep.
No, I really hope that I bet that westbound might actually already be by here, but ideally not. I mean, I don't know. What's he waiting for, though?
I mean, if there's a train working, that means he's taking up at least one of the mains at Beverly.
Right, so they have to squeeze by every...
They have to make meets here somehow. All right. Look over to the right. All red to the right.
Train sitting on the left.
Uh-huh. We'll circle around this way to show everybody that our train is in fact parked underneath the bridge. Just outside of Fairfax. And then I am going to circle around. Just 1 block down, 1 block over, 1 block back. What else we got for comments on there?
Buddy says that there's a light power going to Hines to rescue a train there.
Oh.
Sounds like a fun day on the CPKC.
Yeah.
A-Train said he saw an SD70M yesterday. It was leading number 6.
Oh my.
So, Alan says that CB or CHCB is arriving at Beverly 12:59.
What time is it?
106. Oh, I see headlights.
I do too. We need to get over here.
We need to get over here and get held up.
Pull down here into the shade again. And it looks like this guy is quickly approaching us.
Looks like a GE of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Winding it up some, evidently.
Crossing over. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I hope so. That would have been a turn of events.
Guess what we've got on camera?
Right?
2740, 6575.
Got some Cargill tanks.
It is a choo-choo. You're right, Elizabeth. Another big choo-choo. Yeah.
IC&E flat car.
Yes. Sandhoppers. I think one of them was WSOR.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's cool, old cylindrical.
Very. Old and rusty.
Got some coil cars coming up. See if there's any.
CSX?
Yep.
Yeah.
An old one and a new one. Another old one, a couple new ones.
Mm-hmm. We timed this out pretty perfect, didn't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes, even with all the best information in the world, you just kind of
sometimes
luck right into it.
Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it doesn't.
Asphalt cars,
yeah.
Not asphalt. All right, so here is the rear of our CHCB.
Coal train at Mount Vernon at 1308. Oh well.
Really?
Yeah. That guy snuck by us then.
How did that guy get? Unless if he was already by us, and that's why these signals were already red.
Yeah, he had just gone by or something.
Yeah. That's still just hustling, though.
Yeah.
To get from there, from Belle Plaine to here in that amount of time.
Must have not had any notch restrictions.
I guess.
I mean, I don't know how long those doubled up coal trains would end up being, but...
Right. So we're going to see if it truly is a meet. Does the dispatcher have this guy stacked in a few minutes here? Nipper is next.
Yep.
Yeah, loaded going to Wisconsin. That's right. There, just popped in green.
Look at that.
Uh-huh. So now,
whip it around.
We're going to turn around and roll this guy by the other direction. This is going to be, I think, the end of our program after we do this second roll by.
Got to go out with a bang.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so signals popped in, switches are back to normal. Now we're just waiting for this guy to blast off. Yeah, I agree. Pretty fun day of rail fanning out here. We apparently didn't make all the right decisions, but
Right. Yeah.
but we did manage.
There's only so much you can do with no form of switchboard.
Uh-huh. I haven't heard this guy sound off that he's started moving yet.
Just yet.
Yeah. Put the window down just a hair. The milepost for Norway is 89 point. Does that say 89.98? Because 90 is right there.
Yeah.
Just
And then
past the
bungalow
crossing.
says 89.98.
Mm-hmm. So the milepost is 0.02 of a mile from the crossing.
Right.
Which
allegedly.
means it's 105.6 feet. Apparently.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem quite right, but yes, 1/10 of a mile would be 528 feet. 100th of a mile would be 52.8. I don't know if this guy is not gonna move.
Sure hope so.
Got a green light. I don't know what we're. Ooh, hey.
What's up?
Remember we saw that Rail Express van?
Yeah. They get on the power?
There's a headlight on that power back there on the Krandic lead.
Yep.
So if anyone's looking for something to do later in the Cedar Rapids area, there's apparently going to be an empty coal train.
Looks like they cut off some of the power too, because it looks like there's only one of
Here
them.
we
down
go.
there. Ah. Dave Schultz says back in the 70s I would ask my girls if they wanted to go for a ride. We would end up trackside in South Beaver Dam, Wisconsin on the CNW.
Uh-huh.
They never caught on. They were were always disappointed.
Or always surprised.
Right.
Well, he is crawling up here very, very, very slowly.
Taking up the slack still, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Stop him stretched out, you don't have to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his tail's on that hill over there.
Uh-huh. Oh, turning around.
No patience.
You know, honestly, I can't blame him.
Can't blame him if that train's going that slow.
Yeah. And knowing how long the train is from having just rolled it by previously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At least he didn't go around the gates and just run the crossing.
Right.
He's making the intelligent decision going back for the highway overpass
Right.
to get around that way. Yeah, there's another choo-choo. Look at all that super elevation.
Yeah, right.
This is, I mean,
He is leaned on
this is definitely was designed to be a high-speed operation. SD70AH, that's what they're calling it. And then Yeah.
I don't know. They put a latch on the front of it.
It's an AC44 CTE is
Yes.
that one's being called.
Membrane. I wonder what that means.
I think it's supposed to keep moisture out of the grain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The David J. Joseph Company. DJTX. You should look and see where the David J. Joseph Company is based out of.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these FMLX, NAHX, those are just
Leasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the
David J. Jones.
David J. Joseph.
Joseph.
TNOX. I'm guessing that this whole cut is privates that are all owned or leased by the same outfit.
Founded in 1885, is a world leader in scrap metal recycling and trading.
Yeah?
So they must be doing stuff. World leader in scrap metal brokerage.
Why would they be using covered hoppers then?
I don't know. Maybe it's another side business that they're into for since they're doing enough rail stuff.
Yeah. It is interesting nonetheless. More of these TGSX.
A Nucor company.
Yeah. There's that Conrail coil shield again.
Yeah.
NS. Procore 1075 liquefied petroleum gas.
Non-odorized.
Yeah.
Norfolk
It'll kill you, but you can't smell it.
Right.
Douglas County Forest Products. You should look that one up too.
Yeah.
Where is Douglas County Forest Products? That one said Hampton in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. On center.
There's that Gary Railway coil car again.
Oh, Douglas County, Oregon.
Douglas County, Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah. So even though it's an NPPR train, a North Platte train, it does kind of confirm my suspicion that this was lumber and produce out of Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. DJTX, so there's that David J. Joseph again.
Yeah.
But they're covered hoppers.
That is rather interesting.
Uh-huh. Those UTLXs, they were non-placarded. They might be going to get cleaned out.
Oh, yeah.
Or they might have been cleaned out and being changed over to a different service, potentially. Yeah, Hampton Lumber, we know that's in Oregon. And then these cryotrans. Sorry about that. Someone is trying to rudely interrupt our rail fanning with a phone call.
Yeah.
It's probably a marketing call.
Yeah, right.
Quite honestly.
Yep. Are you interested? Not really.
Yeah.
BNSF boxcar.
Uh-huh.
DPU.
Mid DPU. We have a mid DPU and a rear DPU, if I recall correctly. There's our contaminated dirt cars.
Yep.
3077. I'm glad we rolled this by the second time at a slower speed so we could figure out where some of this stuff was from.
Right. Yeah.
It is interesting. CLSX, that's a Cargill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's I think that was a rock salt car.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've seen those at Cargill before.
TNOX. I'm sure there's a reporting mark table somewhere out there.
Oh yeah, you can look them all up. There's more of those TGSXs. We've seen at least 3 different cuts of those in the train.
Hi, Sam.
There's that CPKC auto rack again.
Yeah, brand new.
Uh-huh.
Already graffiti up. KCS boxcar.
Uh-huh.
Here comes that Conrail.
Yeah. Roseburg Lumber. That was a lumber car. I didn't catch that before. It's got no sheeting on the sides of it.
Yeah.
No plastic wrap.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Seems like a poor way to move your lumber.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's gonna really get wet in this weather.
Sure it can. It can get snowed on.
Yeah, it can
and
get
then melt, and then
it
absorb the
could melt.
water.
It could melt.
Yes. You think about how many climate... There's a Ferromex.
Yeah.
How many different climate changes this thing has gone through just from...
Yeah, right.
From wherever on the Pacific coast that it originated to North Platte to here.
Here's our DPU.
And there's our rear DPU.
Putting in the work.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is going to be the end of the program. That was another C44 ACTE.
Yeah, the whatever
Yeah.
designation.
All right. We're going to get out of here. Oh, we went 1 hour and 22 minutes today. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Little
Very
overtime.
exciting. That's all right. We got lots of train traffic, so that's what matters.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And Evan and I are going to call this a day. And we will not be online next Monday. My kids do not have school. So I'm going to be home taking care of kids all day next Monday. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. So we'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in.
Take care, everybody.